So in our series of understanding the Indian DPDP Act 2023, let us talk about the role of a data protection officer today. We will elaborate on the role in subsequent videos, but let's set the basics of it. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy, and as I mentioned, we are talking about the role of a data protection officer, what is the significance and importance in an organization, where is required. Data protection officer is required everywhere. Any organization that processes information needs someone to monitor it. We typically call the organizational component that creates the processes of processing personal data, the way it would be collected, the way it would be stored, the way it would be processed, the way it would be shared with a third party, and the way it would be deleted, when, how, what would be the process around these 5 processes is what is data fiduciary, right? Entire process is defined by them, and if the organization is too large or is processing too much of personal information, then we call it a significant data fiduciary because they have to do a lot of processes, right? So an organization, 50-100 employees dealing only with the internal staff personal data, a bit of a customer data and a bit of a vendor personal data, can outsource a DPO, a data protection officer, who can help them comply with their requirements under Indian DPDP Act. However, a large organization like a bank, multiple branches, multiple processes, and processing billions of personal data, and also taking care of one personal piece of information being processed from multiple processes, is referred to as a significant data fiduciary. The difference otherwise lies between the two, that the data protection officer for a significant data fiduciary is mandated to be hired on board with the organization and has to be an Indian citizen living in India, right? You cannot outsource or onboard a non-Indian person or any Indian operating from outside India as your own data protection officer when it comes to a significant data fiduciary. Even otherwise, the DPO is expected to be Indian. However, smaller organizations can take consultancy and help from outside agencies who you can act as a DPO as a service, right? Then we come on to if fiduciary is the one who is only deciding the mechanisms, then who is actually processing it. So the component that actually processes it is called data processor, right? Now you can find it strange being calling them as components, but many organizations, smaller ones, would have one single piece which would act as privacy officer, as fiduciary, as well as processor, right? However, there could be differences. For example, processor could, if your organization is, for example, a call center, right? So the processing of information is done by the call center people, and the team that defines how this would be done, where would the data be available, how it would be stored, is the fiduciary for that organization, and the one who is monitoring all these processes is the data protection officer, right? Monitoring all the processes and ensuring that the organization is compliant is the chief role of the data protection officer. So let's come down, and then you have a consent manager. His job is only to facilitate collection of consent, approval from a data principal that he agrees that his personal data is to be processed in this particular manner by the organization. Fine. I have videos on the roles of fiduciary, processor and consent manager on my channel, so you can refer to them on their individual roles. Let's talk about the data protection officer for now. So first of all, he is expected to build an organization culture around privacy. So he needs to understand all the processes and redesign them such that privacy becomes a part of their working culture. Dr. Ann Kowukian of Canada formulated this privacy by design with 7 principles under it. I'll tag my video on that. My videos have the basics, the 7 individual principles, and then the summary of them, so you can go through them. And you are expected in any organization that your DPO will help you set up your individual processes with these principles embedded into it. Very small example could be someone applying for a job, appearing for an interview, getting rejected. However, now you have his past employment record, you have his personal details. If not financial, but at least his residence, phone number, email ID, educational record, past employment record, salary, etc. is something that you have with you. But this piece of information is of no use for you. So how do you handle it? And that's the role of a DPO, to help you decide how would you handle this piece of information, and you should publish it to your candidates who are applying that this is how it's going to be handled depending on the outcome of the interview. Then training and awareness. He is supposed to provide training to all the individuals across the organization, from stakeholders to junior most employees, and he has to run regular campaigns around awareness. Training could be one time, training could be 6 monthly, right? Training could happen whenever a new process comes in. But you have to regularly keep reminding people of how they have to handle their personal data. You can use posters and danglers and other tools that can help you redefine regularly with new designs that this is how privacy is expected to be done. You can take samples of breaches, etc., and put them on across for your own team. Again, that's the role of a DPO. Conduct regular data protection impact assessments, evaluate the risk of your data processing models, and recommend and implement all the remedies that are possible over there. Do a compliance oversight. As I've been saying, he has to monitor all the processes and ensure that they are compliant with the DPDP Act. So he has to do that, and he has to ensure that all the activities align with the requirements, legal and regulatory both, for the DPDP Act 2023. He should also be able to liaison with the Data Protection Board of India, who might be sending regular queries or who might end up come up and do an assessment. Right? Grievance redressal. DPO is the point of contact for data principals. He is the one to whom any data principal can go and say, this is my right, I want to access my information, this is my right, I want to withdraw my consent. Right? So it's the job of the DPO to address the grievances, to answer any queries on their rights and requests, anything that they want, and all of them need to be in timely fashion, though their exact times are not yet defined in the Indian Act, but worldwide there is a time limit for every kind of request. The DPO is expected to recreate policies around data protection in the organization, which is a security, that is CIA triad. You need to be confidential, data integrity is to be maintained, data availability is to be maintained, and that is what about the role of a data protection officer when you talk about the Indian DPDP Act. I hope you like the content of my video, so please press the bell and the like icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. It's very, very helpful and meaningful. Thank you.